Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. This is Scott Fergusen, and I have my really awesome sauce friend, my Trinidadian Miss Natalie Jobity, and she is the architect of the Unveiled Way. And as a brilliance unveiler, Natalie Jobity leverages more than a decade of experience empowering hundreds of women as an image consultant and now as a leadership coach and personal brand strategist of the Unveiled Way. She works with trailblazing women to empower them to unveil their brilliance and maximize their impact. And Natalie, thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourself to Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Oh God, you asked me the tough, because I love color, as you can tell from my background.
I can tell, love.
Yeah. I would say it's leaning more towards the magenta lately.
Magenta.
Yeah.
Love it. You're the first guest of over 450 that has said magenta. So you are a unique lady. I love it. I love it. And so Natalie, let's, I know that you're out there really helping the women level up in this world. Thank you so much for doing that. But I'd love to get to your roots. I'd love to get to where you kind of started and got to the point where you're so immensely respected by people that they're seeking you out for that help to level up.
You know, my journey has been interesting, as most of our journeys. So of course I was born in Trinidad, born and raised, came here to go to college, went to Rutgers University. I think it was me coming to this country was the first thing that had me look at myself a little differently, because in Trinidad, being a 6 feet tall, at 11 years old, I was like almost like a people would stare at me. I was like a thing, and it was very hard to grow up like that. But then coming to this country, it was like, are you a model? And all those questions are like, oh, am I actually pretty or whatever? So it kind of boosted my self-esteem being here. And then, long story short, graduated, a very smart girl, went to Cambridge University, did all the things, and then finally landed. Correct. Yeah, that was like the best year of my life still, and that was so many years ago. Landed in a career in market research, which is interesting because it wasn't where I would have thought I would have been, but it's what I'm so gifted in many things. One of them is connecting things, understanding numbers, but stories. And so I was really good at telling the stories and the data for the clients, did it for 15 years, but I always knew that was not my thing. And I kept trying to seek, like, what am I really here supposed to do? And I really I'm somebody who needs to be on purpose. And so I was always looking. Finally, I stumbled on this career called image consulting. And when I heard about it, it was just like everything lit up in me. I was just like, oh my God, I can get paid to help people look good. And I was just like, went all the way in, resigned from my very lucrative career at the time, jumped ship to be an entrepreneur full time. It was crazy looking back at it, because as a woman of color, like all of the things I did was very crazy, but it just made sense at the time. And that building that business from scratch, learning the lay of the land in that, being so good at it, working with hundreds of women, Scott, that is where my passion got really ignited of, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to empower women, especially men too. I would say a few good men, because they're out there.
I love it. I was going to say, don't leave us out, Natalie.
No, because there are a few good men who are meant to help too. But even back then I did. But women, for some reason, women were my focal point. They were my passion. And I saw how I say we, because it was me too. We lack confidence. We doubt ourselves. We don't do the things. And just even as an image consultant, I would go a little bit deeper than, of course, the external. So that was where I didn't know it at the time. I thought it was going to be the thing, but I was like, I want to go deeper. What does she really want to be? What does she want to project? All this different stuff. Did that career for a minute until it was a God story where I had to end it. I'll just say that for time's sake, had to end it. And then it was like, what am I supposed to do now? That was supposed to be my life, whatever, work. And God again gave me this business name for the Unveiled Way and started me on this coaching journey, where I got certified. I used to hate the idea of coaching, because a long story.
Me too.
And I never thought I would have been a coach. I kept thinking, God, a coaching? I kept saying, why are you leading me here? But I was like, I'm very obedient now, so follow the promptings. And I realized, oh my God, I would love this. And so I got into this now business. It didn't start as leadership coaching, but it evolved into this, because again, God showed me that I have always been a leader, and I'm meant to help other leaders.
Beautiful. So
especially women who don't even see themselves as leaders, but are, to unveil their brilliance so that they can step into their power, their influence, and make the impact that they are divinely designed to do. That is my heartbeat. that is everything for me. So that is where the passion comes from.
That's just beautiful. And you use so many words like brilliance and design. And that's who God is. And again, not everybody out there believes in our God, which is fine. You know, they have a creator, but like so many people want to stay away from that goodness. Because I mean, God is love. God is money. God is all those things. Is why wouldn't you want to stay close to that source to
God
get
is wisdom
of good, right?
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
it. So do you take clients more one-on-one, or are you in a group setting, Natalie?
So I love my one-on-one. I'm an introvert, but I'm also who presents as an extrovert because nobody ever believes I'm an introvert.
Me too, love. Me too.
Okay. So we're saying
Yeah.
I never think you are.
Like I will go to a coffee shop by myself and sit there for hours reading my Kindle and have no problem. Go out to eat by myself. I have no problem with that.
Right.
Yeah.
But I really thrive in that one-on-one small group connection thing. That's where I shine.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing, because of course we want to be able to scale our businesses, I'm doing more groups. I'm doing some virtual groups, and I'm beginning to launch some different things coming out later this year, like masterminds and things.
Nice.
I've also seen, and this is I'm being very much like, where do you want me? And I see that I create really authentic, safe spaces, and whether it's one-on-one or whether it's a small group environment, that's one of my superpowers. So I'm leveraging that more and more nowadays.
I love that. So if you're in like maybe a one-to-one with somebody and they're seeing if you're the right fit, I call it the right horse for the course with my coaching, right? So you're finding out if you're the right fit. Is there any secret sauce, if you don't mind sharing, that maybe helps them kind of locate and zone in on that blind spot that's holding them back?
Well, I just had one of those calls yesterday. No, it was Monday, and then we had a follow-up yesterday. It's interesting. Sometimes just echoing back the words somebody say that is potent, but they didn't even know it's potent. So this is what this person said to me in the call on Monday. They used the word, I want to find my new fire. They don't even know they said that word. And I said, so later I said, you said you wanted to find your new fire. Where is it? Where have you? And then she was like, well, I used to have it, but now I don't know where it's gone. And maybe because I'm old. I'm like, nope, it's not about age. It said, this is where you need to do the work, because you said it. You know who you are when you have that new fire. And so for me, it was like mirroring back something that, because when I kept saying, what's your vision? She couldn't give me answers, but her saying, I need to find my new fire, and me using that word now on and on with her, it embodies something for her. So that's the gap. For her, it was, I know this feeling, and when I have this feeling, I'm my best self. And if I can recapture that, so that's what hooked it. That's what hooked her into, let me hear more what you can do to help me get this new fire back.
I love that you kind of caught that, and you like probably asked permission to reflect that back to her, right? Yeah. And that's a sign of a fantastic coach, which means you're freaking listening. Which is just, I love that. I love it. So how about if you're maybe working with a group or even one-on-one, is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
That the group would ask me?
Either group or even just in a one-on-one, like maybe you're just making sure, again, it's the right fit. Is there any good question that you wish they would ask you?
I guess because they don't usually ask a lot of questions, you're right. Yeah. I would wish that they would ask me what my brilliance is as a coach.
Yes. Yeah. And that's like, and you know what, also that's a fantastic answer, and like, I want to be asked, are you coached? Like, I'm sure you have a coach, right?
I have my support squad, my success squad, as I call it. Yeah. But it's like, because I'm all about them finding their brilliance. So I don't know, Scott, there's so many coaches out here. I've been certified by ICF. I've done the thing. And I have learned in my journey, and every coach doesn't have the same story, but in my story, it's like, I am a coach and I'm a lot of other things too, because I'm bringing all my brilliance into this space. I'm bringing all of me. I've had other careers. I have other strengths. And so I share with this client I just spoke to, I said, you're getting my strategy, because that's one of my top gifts. And so I coach you, and there's an and there. So as the Brilliance Unveiler, I am a coach and a strategist and a co-creator and, right? So in the spaces I create as a coach, the coaching is one part of the whole picture.
I love that it's not just that. And a lot of us coaches get sucked in, not sucked into, we get kind of categorized as consultants. And what I love again about, you went back to about the find the fire, is that, like, I'm a big believer, Natalie, that we all know what we want. We just don't know how to talk ourselves into it. Right. And a great coach knows that problem or issue or obstacle is within, but so is that answer. And like so many people, especially coaches, and I wish they would stop, to be honest with you, is that they try to consult it out of them, like tell them what to do. Like I did that early in my career, and people come back and be like, Fergie, you're an idiot. Like that didn't work. But if they come up with it, or help with the reflection, what you talked about, then they're more apt to take massive, as Tony would say, massive action on it, right? To do it.
Because it's all about, at the end of the day, what we're helping our clients do is to tap into their own agency, authority, and autonomy. We can't be that for them, else they'll be dependent. And it's like, we're not trying to raise dependent clients. We're trying to raise self-empowered clients who know that they have the wisdom inside of them, and who can now understand the voice and learn to tap into that inner wisdom. And we're the guide. So yes, I mean, I think part of what I try to say is like, you already have all the things you need. It's just about me helping you bring the things out that need to be aired out and brought to the front so that you can do the thing you're meant to do. It's already all there. And there are blocks. And so part of what I'm going to do is help unveil those blocks to you, so you can then start to navigate around those blocks or get rid of them completely. But at the end of the day, it's about the client's agency. It's about the client's empowerment in themselves. I am the guide, the champion, the co-creator, but I am not your boss. I am not, you know what I mean? I'm not your guru either, even.
You know what? What I do is if I'm in person client, I'll put them in my car, or their car, and I sit with them, and I'll say, like, because I believe so many people have a foot in the past, a foot in the future, and they piss all over the present, right? They're there. When you get in their car and say, this rear view mirror right here is small for a reason. That's your past. You can learn from it and pull some good memories from there, but don't live there. This windshield is your future. It's big, it's scary, right? And I point at their console and see this GPS right here. That's me. I'm going to help you, but I guess what? I'm not going to buckle your seatbelt. I'm not going to hit the ignition, put it in gear. I'm your GPS, and that's exactly what you're saying. And
I love it.
Yeah, and I want to kind of move this forward just a little bit. Kind of a chapter in your book, or part in your book, about getting clarity in your calling. Can you unpack that? Not too much time, because I want people to go read the book, which Scott, I am doing a book giveaway at the end, so stick around. But like, can you unpack a little bit of the clarity in your calling? Yeah.
So that is one of the first things I actually developed. One of my first lead magnets was this workbook I call it Clarity in Your Calling, because I realized, because of the work I had done on myself and on my journey, and what clients were coming with, that there are 3 key pillars that people, they're very obvious. You're going to know what they are when I say them, Scott, but a lot of people don't actually do the work to understand what those mean for them. So the first pillar is the passions. Where are my passions? Where's my hobby? What lights me up? You'd be surprised, Scott, how many people cannot answer that question. So that's number 1. Number 2 is, what are my strengths? What am I actually good at? What are my superpowers that I'm bringing to the table? Again, you'd be surprised how many women go, I don't have any strengths, or I don't know what I'm good at. And it's like, wow.
Right.
There's a whole thing unpacking there. And then the third pillar, which is one that is very, as coaches, we all know about, but I engage it a lot in my work, because I feel it's so foundational. It's the values. Where are your values? Your values are what guide you. They're your fulcrum. They're what you don't even realize you're using to make your decision and your choices. So if you're not clear on what they are, you don't know where your choices are coming from. So when the intersection of those 3 pillars is what I see as, when you unpack it, and all those take their own work, and that's why there's a chapter on it. All those 3 pillars, when you unpack all those, the intersection of that is, to me, the key to your calling.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
Because it's so many times when I start doing the work of what you're good at, and when clients see something that they didn't even know as a strength, that they do so easily, and they're like, and I'm like, Do you realize this is a strength? You're just literally lying latent here, waiting for you to pick it up.
I love that.
Oh my God.
And with those three, the three pillars that you mentioned with the passion, the strengths, and the values, that, they can step into their full self with that and live authentically.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is the whole heart.
Yeah.
My number one value, which is interesting, is actually authenticity. So when you say those words, step into it authentically, it means so much to me, Scott, because at the end of the day, and I say this all the time, we are each uniquely designed and wired to be a specific impact onto our sphere, the world, our domain.
Yes.
So it's about our individuality. That's our exceptionality, right? So if you can unpack your specific secret sauce, your specific passion, your specific journey, your specific expertise, and put it all together, that's when you're doing your thing. The thing you meant, the thing you're designed, created to do, to make your impact. I believe that's a whole lot of it.
You said that individuality impact with what?
Individuality is your exceptionality.
Oh, I love it. That's solid.
I just made that up. I never said it before like that. So that's just
that's good. I pull it out of you. I'll take the credit on that. So tell me a little bit about a failure that has really helped you in your life, how you kind of found that clarity in crisis, okay, and really push through that. The one maybe you've learned the most from.
Yeah, it's funny. I would have to say it's the quote unquote failure of my first business, my image consulting business, Ilana Image Management, which was a huge thing for me, to the point where for the longest time I didn't even look at it. It's almost like it didn't happen at all. I actually blocked it out of my mind because I was so ashamed of the failure of it. That's why I put in what's a failure. But Scott, you'd be surprised to learn that it's only recently, in the past couple of years, and more recently, even last year, where I've fully embodied what it meant to look back at what I had built. I had a best-selling book back then too, another book, my first book, From Pizza Fabulous. But this was the book. It was all the women I'd helped. It was all the reviews I'd gotten and testimonials, all the talks I'd given, all the videos I'd done. I mean, there was so much content and transformation. I thought to myself, Natalie, the lesson I learned from that, and I shared a little bit about it in my new book, is that I never stopped long enough, Scott, along the way to pause and say, look what I'm building and creating as I go. I was just going from thing to thing to thing to thing. I'm a high achiever by DNA or whatever, by nurture. And so I was just building, creating, not taking stock of, you're changing lives, Natalie. The thing you wanted to do, you're doing it. You have a best-selling book on Amazon that tens of thousands of copies have been sold. I was just like, okay, next thing. And then when it failed, it just felt like failure. I did not incorporate and integrate the wins and the accomplishments and the seeds planted. So that my biggest lesson from failure has to be that, because now I make a point. I actually did a whole series called the Savor Series about savoring our paths, our time, but what we're building, what we've created, what we've achieved, what we've done, and honoring and acknowledging what the legacy that we're leaving behind before we have to leave behind.
Love it. I love it. And that's just beautiful. Thank you for going deep on that for me. I really appreciate that, Natalie. And so have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
Oh God, too many years ago.
Right. So almost 40 years ago, right? And so let's get that DeLorean with Marty McFly. Let's go back to the double deuce, the 22-year-old Natalie, okay? I don't want you to change anything because there's all lessons and whatnot, but maybe something you might tell her, or maybe anybody else that's out there that's a little bit younger, or maybe someone that's stuck. What would you tell them to maybe help them shorten their learning curve, blast through, or level up? Maybe just to get through a little bit quicker.
Yeah, well, part of the reason I wrote this book was for my younger self, actually, because they have a lot of wisdom that she didn't have back then. But one of the things I would definitely say is a couple of things. One I would say is to own your brilliance. And what that means is be really aware of what you love to do and what you do well. And don't let anybody talk you out of what you know are your gifts. Because
Right.
I know in my journey, there are gifts I had that I dismissed and denied because nobody was acknowledging them. And I didn't get to be used and leveraged until much later in my life. And that thought held me back. And so that's the I was like, you have everything in you. My 22-year-old self say, girl, you are smart. Own
Love it.
You are creative. Own that. You are an innovator. You know, all these things. I would say those things to her. And I'd also say, trust your intuition. Because that's something that I've only now learned to leverage and like, whoa, there's so much there.
Yes, I love that. And thank you for being transparent. And there's so many people that needed to hear that, like right now and today. And Natalie, how do you want your dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and your death date. Hopefully it's way down the road. But that tombstone, how do you want people to remember Natalie?
She made her impact. She changed lives. That to me would be everything. That's why I do what I do. Without her, I wouldn't, whatever, like changing lives, transforming minds, you know, anything along those lines would be like, I've done my work.
All right. So then what would your definition of a life well lived be?
Lived according to my values.
Love that.
And that people, you know what Maya Angelou said, that people just being in my orbit, being in my sphere, being in my circle, that it made a positive difference to you, to that person, that it elevated them, it uplifted them, it empowered them, whatever those words might be.
I love it.
In their atmosphere was a positive contributing factor to their life.
I honestly believe that you really care for other people's success more than you care that they care about yours. I really love that about you, Natalie. And I'm so blessed. And squad, we're going to take my good friend Natalie Jobity through our Leveling Up lightning round just as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors and affiliates. Time to shine today, podcast varsity squad. We are back, and Natalie, like I said, I'm going to be speaking up in DC a few times this year. We're definitely going to connect in one of the suburbs for a nice dinner and whatnot. Maybe we'll talk about some of these questions in person if they're longer. But today, you've got 5 seconds to answer them with no explanations, and they can all be done that way.
Okay.
You ready? All right, let's level up. Natalie, what is the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Do you, be you.
Love it. Love it. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Gratitude journal every night. Five different things. Yep.
Beautiful. So if you see me maybe walking around in an event or we're just out somewhere and I look like I'm in my doldrums a little bit, other than your book, what book might you hand me? What book has influenced you to really level up?
Oh God, I'm a reader, so many books, but I would have to say, oh God, okay. Woo, so many books. I'm a Brene Brown lover, so I would say Rising Strong. I love it. Yeah.
Love it. What's your most commonly used emoji when you text?
The one like this, with the hands like this.
I love it. Every time I ask that, everyone's like this or I love it. I love it. Nicknames growing up?
Canning's Tall 12.
Say that again.
Okay, so we had a soda in Trinidad called Canning's Tall 12. Okay. Because I'm tall. That was a nickname growing up.
I love it.
It's very tall and slim. So that was like, Canning's Tall 12.
Love it. And, okay, quickly, what is your hidden talent or superpower that you have that nobody knows about?
Ooh. Oh gosh. I'm really good at Wordle.
Got it.
I kill Wordle every day.
Love it. Love it. Chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Monopoly.
Awesome. Headline for your life.
Ooh. Trailblazing, unstoppable, fearless, femme.
Love that. Love the femme at the end. Beautiful. Go-to ice cream flavor.
Butter pecan.
Awesome. So there's there's a sandwich called the Canning's Tall 12. Build that sandwich for me.
Sandwich?
Yeah.
Huh? Oh my God. I'm not a sandwich girl, but okay, I'll put avocado.
Ooh, there we go.
It's garlic, some pepperoni, some cheddar cheese in there. I think that's it.
Beautiful. I love that pepperoni on there too. Awesome. So Natalie, any favorite charities or organization like to give your time or money to?
there's an organization, Christian Mentoring and Transition, that I'm a part of for women incarcerated, right locally, right in my town, actually. Yeah, that we pour into them with letters.
That's
Because of
beautiful.
COVID, we haven't been visiting, but we're going to be visiting again soon. So just empowering these women who are kind of like, been through some hard times.
That's awesome. And I do that kind of in a jail of the Palm Beach. I live in Palm Beach, Florida, and I'm able to allow me, because of my certifications and what I've did, to be able to go in and talk to the prisoners.
Yeah.
And to be able to like help them set their vision, especially the short timers, to get them leveled up. And they go, and I do a pro bono, and it's so rewarding on Sunday mornings after church.
Wow.
It's just fantastic. So, all right, last question. We can elaborate on this one, but what's the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
I'm going to be giving my age a little bit here, but I'm going to have to say the 70s.
Really? I thought you were going to say the 80s, but I'll take it that too.
But you know what? Some of my favorites are from the 70s, man. Like, oh my God, Heat Wave, and oh my God.
It's sad we lost Tina Turner yesterday, right?
I just found out today that we lost Tina Turner, but she was a legend.
I got to meet her for like 5 minutes.
Oh.
And I still comes back to this day, and I still, those legs of hers just run through my mind.
My God.
And how nice she was to me. She was so nice. And I have like I was in the military in the time out in San Diego, and she came out for the troops. And like I have not a Polaroid, but like a picture you had printed, not, there's no cell phone. And that's just amazing. So, but Natalie, how can we find you, my friend?
So everything's on my website, theunveiledway.com. But of course you can connect with me on LinkedIn, and Instagram is where I spend my time. I'm not a Facebooker. But my website pretty much has all that I'm up to and what I'm doing. So theunveiledway.com is the best way. Yeah. I
love that. And that'll all be in the show notes out there, squad. And also I'm going to do a book of this. Her book will be in the show notes, both the Kindle and the paperback version will be in here. I'm going to do a book giveaway to the first person that puts anywhere in our social, or even text us at 561-440-3830, the words Tall 12. Anybody that puts Tall 12 in there is going to get her book. And she must have stole it from me. I'm just totally kidding, but it's your time to shine, girl. And I've read through it, the first couple chapters myself. And that's where I kind of got the question about the clarity. But if you're a female, and like I said, a few good men out there, I'm going to get it for my Susan. And I know she's going to love it. And it's a book that you need to be picking up. It came out in October of 22. But if you could give us in a synopsis, not too much time, because I don't want to spoil it for people. But if you could give us a synopsis of your book.
Yeah, so it's your time to shine, girl. I know I don't know why I picked that title, but that's the one I picked.
That's how we connected. Look.
Yes, I know. It's your time to shine. I mean, I'm brilliant, everything but light. But basically the book is an empowerment book, leadership book for women and a few good men. And it's 12 chapters, but in 3 sections. The first section is called Know. That section is about knowing who you are, your brilliance, your obstacles, what your imposter, how it's revealing you, so that you can get really strong in that foundation and get the clarity for your calling, all that. The second section is about show. So show is about you start to show yourself. When you get more confidence, you're more
know and show.
Yes,
right?
Show. And then the last section is called Glow. It's about how to sustain. So the shine you discovered and know how to sustain that glow so it never dies out again. So know, show, glow. And it's all about your inside light shining outwardly so that you can be the best version of yourself and do the thing you're meant to do. That's the heart of the book. There are a lot of my stories in there, my own personal stories with my journey with all those things, and stories of some of my clients, a lot of references to other books that I've read. So it's a really all around good, solid book.
I love it. And Scott, again, the first person I'm going to buy 5 books. The first person that puts, or the first 5 people put Tall 12, again, any of our social, please, or if you even just reach out to Natalie and say, hey, I heard from you from Scott Fergusen. Natalie, let us know, and I'll make sure you get that book for free on my dime. And Natalie, if you could do me one last solid, leave us with one last knowledge nugget we can take with us, internalize, and take action on.
So we were talking earlier about leveling up, and that's actually the theme I had in my newsletter that went out this morning. And I talked about, are you ready to level up? And I said, level up can look like a lot of different things. And it depends on who you are, what's stopping you, where you want to go, and how you're naturally what's your aspirations. And so just leveling up is I guess I'm saying it's a broad term, and you could take that word as specific as you need to, but we all are in a season where we can be leveled up. And so the nugget would be that be clear for yourself what that looks like for you. And I gave a whole list of examples. Does it mean that you show up looking a different way, or you start to lead a different way, or you start to knock out that imposter voice in you? Or, there's so many scenarios, but you get clear on what leveling up means to you, and you take those first intentional steps to get to that next level version of you, because we all have levels of ourselves, many levels. And so you want to be intentional about taking those steps to get into that next level version of you, wherever you are starting from.
I love it. And level up, I use that. It was a joke back in the day that, because I used to, in the military, everyone was into Nintendo and Sega. This is 1990, right? And I'd be like, I'm going to gym. And no, we're going to sit here and level up on your games. And I just, you losers level up. But one thing I realized is, just like Nike's Just Do It, let's level up is a very neutral statement, because you can either do it or not, or you can level up or not. So my whole coaching is based around neutrality, because, like positive people, people say, well, like I had a bad round of golf the other day. And like, how'd it go, Mr. Positive? I'm like, didn't go that great, man. They're like, positivity is not working. I will tell you what, positivity doesn't always work, right? But what does work 100% of the time is negativity. So I like to stay very neutral, and that's where I take my clients for that neutral place, like in that car, right? And then work them forward. So, it's just, I love that you and I are just so aligned. And squad, I had the most fun conversation with my good friend Natalie here, and I have pages of notes, and I hope that you really do too. She's a 6 foot tall ball of love and energy. She loves connecting stories and helping her clients connect theirs. She wants to empower women and a few good men to blast through their lack of confidence, and not just on the external, but the internal as well. She wants you to step into your power and influence and design your brilliance. She will provide a really, really authentic, safe place for you to really start your level up process, because she's a very super curious coach. She listens not only with her ears, but she listens with all her senses. And if you're working with a coach or starting to work with a coach, ask them straight up, what is your brilliance? Well, how is that? Are you coach? How are you going to get me? How are you going to be that GPS to get me where they are? She wants you to develop your gifts and give them away to other people that might need that help as well. She has what I'm calling the AAA, where you tap into your agency, authority, and autonomy. Become self-empowered. She has her pillars that really fire you up with her passions, that, the pillars of passion, strength, values. Find that fulcrum, and she'll help you guide there and get you to where that you need to be. We're all unique, and we all impact people in different ways. Individuality is your exceptionality, and that's where she wants to really push you to that next level. And big thing here, squad, and I know that I have trouble with this as well, because I'm always looking for the next person to serve, but really pause and celebrate what you built. Savor your wins, as Natalie would say. And while you're at it, own your brilliance. Be aware of what you love to do and do well. Don't listen to the naysayers, man. Okay. And if you don't know how to, like my good friend Leah Woodford would say, get your asking, Gary. There's people out there that will answer it for you. Want you to trust your intuition. She will be remembered as someone that made her impact, bumped and bruised, mind you, because she has went through some crazy stuff and the failures that she shared with us. But she's going to slide across home plate, knowing that she's leveled up people. I really believe she's planting trees she's never going to sit in the shade of. She wants you to live your life according to your values and make people around you better. That is what Natalie does. And how about know, show, and glow? Remember who you are. Find out what's stopping you from where you want to go. And remember, inch by inch, it's a cinch. By the yard, it's hard. Do things in little increments, and you'll get there. And that's what my good friend Natalie will help you do. That's what she does. She levels up her health. She levels up her wealth. She's humble. She's hungry. She's absolutely gorgeous. She's brilliant. And always in her life, I absolutely love your guts, Natalie. I cannot wait to collaborate with you.
Thank you so much. That was an awesome summary. I'm like, he's good.
Oh, thank you so much. We'll talk soon, okay?
Yes, awesome.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.